Most gamers are not buying new releases, especially when it comes to AAA releases. And I mean, why would we? We're not stupid. Most of the modern day AAA releases, or as Ubisoft would say, quadruple A releases, ain't that right, Skull and Bones? I wonder how that went. Oh wait, you paid horribly and now you're on the verge of bankruptcy, which is good. But let's look at the last couple of triple A releases that we have had this year, right? Or the reasonably close ones. We had Dragon Age: The Veilguard, Assassin's Creed Shadows, Border Slop 4. Now we have Ghost of Yote. We have What was the actual last good triple A release? Battlefield 6 is currently okay. Okay, people kind of like it, but it's inevitably going to have its cheating problems, and it has already pretty much set itself up for absolute financial failure. Because the sales that Battlefield 6 needs are beyond ridiculous, obviously. They need to sell more than all of their last games combined, which is, needless to say, impossible. Even though Call of Duty 7 has currently absolutely done everything to destroy itself in the eyes of the public. Why would we buy AAA slop? Best case, it's just typical slop. On average, it's Vogue slop, which is even actually worse. I mean, why would I spend $70 if I can buy 3.5 Silk Songs for that type of money, okay? Why would I buy a Game Pass if I can buy 1.5 Silk Songs for that, okay? We're not even measuring things like movies are and Godzilla -1s. We're Silk Songing, boys. We're Silk Songing. There's pretty much a replacement for every AAA slop thing that we liked when we were younger. Okay? Skyrim has Tainted Grail: The Fall of Avalon. There's probably something for everything. That's the one I cared about most on average. But there's pretty much something for everything. Oh, actually, well, no, Cyberpunk doesn't count because it got released 3 years ago and it was slop when it was released. But still, there's so many things, and most of the situations there's probably already a remaster of something old that we liked, like Oblivion remaster, that literally proved that we are not insane in saying modern day Bethesda sucks. It's bad and clueless and talentless. Now, the Oblivion remaster proved that the games previously were just better. I mean, everyone loved the Oblivion remaster. Even though it had bugs, it had graphical issues, it had fidelity issues and whatnot, it was still better than anything Bethesda has released in the past decade. And, well, it was better than any game, honestly, released in the past decade in an open world scenario.
Remakes and remasters seem to be dominating these days, and here's what's kind of cool. There's a new survey, and it shows something real striking. That 90% of you have played a remaster or a remake within the last few years. Which isn't really a surprise. I mean, I've certainly played a few. I imagine you have. And who could blame you?
I have played Diablo 2 Resurrected as the last remaster that I played.
These games are dominating, and the biggest example is probably Elder Scrolls Oblivion Remastered, because that has outsold all but one of the new games released this year. So you might wonder then, is this just the industry's future? An endless cycle of nostalgic re-releases, forever, all
I mean, works for World of Warcraft Classic, let's be completely real, okay? New World of Warcraft fresh servers for Classic, people just flock to it because there's honestly nothing better, right?
consuming itself? Well, it turns out maybe not. Because for most people playing these remakes, it's actually not about nostalgia. It's literally impossible because most of them haven't played the original version. And that's just one snippet of the new data we've got about remakes. When I say every week brings a new remake or remaster...
I mean, we don't need... Nostalgia means literally nothing. If a game is good, a game is good, okay? This is the most primal, brutal, barbaric, if it's good type of situation, right? So, if a game is good, it doesn't matter if it's new, it doesn't matter if it's nostalgia, people are gonna play it. And the fact that all of these remakes actually do succeed because people just like them that much shows that games previously were better. Diablo 2 Resurrected is, well, Diablo 2, and it has absolutely no balance, technically, and all on a lot of things, but it's amazing because you can do so much with with the stuff that is there that it's beautiful.
That's not idle words, it's quite literal. Last week had Trials in the Sky first chapter and Platypus Reclayed. This week there's Pac-Man World 2 Repack. Perhaps not Oblivion Remaster tier, and you'd be forgiven for being confused at how it appears there's some cultural zeitgeist crying out for early 2000s games that have already been re-released or ported half a dozen times. It's a bit weird, but in 2025, remake culture has really just reached new heights here. Like, to put some stats in.
You know what's the funniest part? Remember when they started doing the remakes? That was like 3 years, 4 years ago? And all of us were like, well, they're doing the fucking shitty remakes, and they're failing the remakes. Because we had, like, Warcraft 3 Reforged to look at, right? Pieces of shit failures. Diablo 2 Resurrected, by the way, started where a lot of people could not even play the game because it was always online and the server connection was bad when it released. So, remakes actually got such a bad rep when they just dropped because I mean every remake was a fail and it felt just like a cash grab. No, don't get me wrong, they're still cash grabs obviously, but at least now they're working cash grabs, I guess.
The Elder Scrolls Oblivion situation, that remaster sold more copies in its first month than the original game did in 15 months. And in total, it has already completely outsold the original release of the game, which is kind of wild. Now, you could argue that something sad is happening here, that publishers are just pushing lazy nostalgia grabs because they can't make new games that are good, and that
I'm absolutely fine with lazy nostalgia grabs. Yada hot in any case.
nobody's money's going to new games. And then maybe this all shows us that people crave the good games of the past that we used to play, not the bad games that we get now. But that wouldn't make full sense because of a kind of staggering statistic from this recent survey, that 85% of you have played a remake or a remaster of a game that you did not play in the first place. So it actually seems that this stuff is expanding into a new audience. Let's dive.
I mean, I talked about this before. The thing why remakes actually work is because there is a point where a game is so old you just don't want to play it because it's old. A great example of this is Fallout New Vegas. Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 3 are at the point where these games are so old, people are like, yeah, I can buy it on Steam for, well, Steam gives me money for me buying it, but effectively free, but I mean, it's a 20-year-old game. Like, come on, is it actually gonna be that good? Is the hype actually that real? Obviously, we know for New Vegas it is true. For Fallout 3, it's worse than Fallout 4. That is objectively the right way to look at these things. Fight me. But it's just too old. At some point, games do just get too old. If a game is 30 years old, I'm not going to be interested in it. So a remake does make me want to play it again because it's new. It's fresh. There's just something about things being new, fresh, and exciting that, you know, gets people pumped up. This is why World of Warcraft Classic servers have survived. Hey, here's World of Warcraft Classic, fresh servers. Is there anything new? No. Is it different? No. But it's fresh. Sold. People just go and play it. That's how it is. It's absolutely insane. And then they call the server's anniversary. Nothing changes, and you know, they just rename the same shit over and over because it's something new. People instantaneously flock to it. God, come on, Bethesda, Microsoft. Oh, everyone knows you have lost so much money. I have been yapping about this I mean, since actually Bethesda and since Bethesda and Blizzard got sold to Microsoft, I've been yapping about this, that Microsoft is losing money. Boys, we can get a remaster of New Vegas, okay? Fucking Todd Loser Howard has no say any longer. Ain't that great? That is great, I know. Maybe if we mass email Xbox and tell them that we are willing to give them money finally for a Fallout New Vegas remaster, remake, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, I'm sold. I want to do that. I want to go. I want to fucking be there. Okay, I would. Would you not? I would. And it's gonna sell like hotcakes, and it's gonna make Todd Howard probably go into Minecraft. And then we would be rid of Todd Howard because I hate Todd Howard and he's useless. He has brought ruin to one of the greatest franchises that I have ever loved.
Dive into the survey, and to do that, we gotta define our terms. Remakes are complete reimaginings built from scratch, so updated graphics, gameplay mechanics, and sometimes story elements. Remasters are enhanced versions of originals.
Story elements, just because Baldur doesn't admit that Vogue is a real thing. When our story elements get changed in remasters, it's because they Vogueify it. That's literally it.
That means improved visuals, sound, and performance, but the core gameplay staying the same. And here's what the data tells us. MTM Consulting surveyed 1,500 US and UK gamers, and GameIndustry.biz brought the data to our attention, and for the sake of uniformity, they gave respondents those specific definitions so everyone's on the same terms. And then they asked people how they feel. And the findings, so there's the 90% stat of people having played at least one remaster or
God, this is why you never should trust statistics unless you see the source, okay? This is quantified. As you can see, this is absolutely just quantified. 90% people happy. That's kind of from this, which doesn't make a lot of sense now, right? We have extremely appealing, very appealing, neither appealing nor unappealing, and extremely unappealing. Damn, a lot of people want this. A lot of people definitely want this.
Remake, and considering how many there have been, that's not a surprise. Then there's the 85% stat that I just talked about. But there's some other ones too. 80% and 71% of people respectively believe that these games are comforting and nostalgic, at the same time as being a good way to share beloved games with new generations. So through these numbers, we actually see that the majority of people are picking up these games for the first time. And we'll come back to that. But where it's getting tricky for publishers is what the hell to do. And we've got big examples of that. Some of them are, say, older Assassin's Creed remake examples. There's the whole Space Marine.
Imagine Assassin's Creed when Assassin's Creed was actually Assassin's Creed.
One thing. And there's a core tension. If you change the game too much, some people won't like it. If you don't change it enough, other people also won't like it, because maybe what they're expecting is a Resi 4 remake tier of work. But you know what's nice? We don't need to take this shit in vibes, because now we've actually got some data. Let me know if this gels with your experience. So 35% of players say remakes are better when they change narrative or gameplay elements. 30% say they're worse. 35% say they're fine either way. So, yeah.
I mean, it depends. For example, in the Oblivion remaster, you got the Skyrim leveling system added, which is objectively a better leveling system than the previous one. But at the same time, the devs added their Vogue bullshit by... people don't talk about this because I also didn't know. I did not play the original Oblivion. I did not play the remaster. I'm a Morrowind dude. Okay, listen, this is what it is. Morrowind is better. Fight me. But turns out, when you actually search for it, they censored and vocalified a lot of things in Oblivion. The design of characters, the clothing, the everything. They vocalified a lot of things. So, it's just the fact that we did not know that they vocalified them. We did not know that they censored things. But they did. So, yeah, changing some stuff is good, but I mean, these devs are going to obviously change everything and vocify anything that they touch.
If you're a developer, what do you do?
Now, the funny part, obviously, about is the fact that, the true things that the developers want to change, like in the Oblivion remaster, they, add their shit and it's gender A and gender B, and people fucking hate it. So, the only part about the game that people technically did not like, en masse, was the stuff the developers added as new. All the old stuff, 2 thumbs up, perfect, let's go, baby. The new stuff that the developers added, that their woke ideology, hate.
It's a third, because regardless, it seems some people are going to be unhappy. And this might explain the continual discourse around these games. We haven't settled on a correct approach, but we have now learned some things. So what affects player experience the most? Well, making games look and feel modern, and as the survey people put it, gamers expect major graphical overhauls, updated controls, and improvements to mechanics. Now, this is where we can get into some solid examples. Take Capcom's Resident
How long are we gonna wait until the Legacy of Kain series is gonna be remastered? I cannot wait.
Evil remakes. At least one of the interviewees specifically cited tank controls, basically just saying gamers of a younger age would probably struggle with them. And yeah, can you imagine the Zoomers and the Gen Alphas trying to do tank controls like original Resi? That would be mad. Though obviously, if you change too much, it will feel wrong to fans of the original.
I mean, anyone remember Vice City's small drone helicopter controls? That almost made me quit the game.
Like, in a way, there has to be a little bit of authenticity promoting clunk in the controls of Leon, because if he controlled like an uber badass, he wouldn't exactly play like one, because it's your mastery of his controls that actually nails the character's development and capability throughout the series. But as we press on through the survey, well, we get to talk about pricing. And certainly, there's opinions in pricing. 74% of users expect a game to be cheaper than the original release to a greater or lesser degree. And that's both about the...
Wow, that is actually insane. Wow, these people, this 6% in free or included in the subscription, disgusting. Okay, you are what's wrong with the industry. Okay, included in my Game Pass subscription. No, how about you don't exist? The fact that people are saying that any single person who has ever answered to a survey with it needs to, with anything else, then I don't care, it needs to be cheaper. You're an idiot. You're a fucking moron. Did you just seriously get asked? Do you want things cheaper? And you said, well, no, not really. Are you fucking stupid? What's wrong with you? Why the hell would you not answer exactly that? I mean, same price is a bad answer, but at least it's not. At least it's, oh no, I would play $70. It's like the Vizard. It's like the, what's it called? Blizzard surveys when they're like, how much would you be willing to pay for this mount? $70, $50, $20, and there's people who are like, oh yeah, I would say pay $70 for this. Are you stupid, bro? What's wrong with you?
Value of the upgraded product and the decision to publish it at all. 6% though go further. They say they want them free or within subscription services. And also timing matters. Only 4% of people think 2 years is enough time between releases, 14% say 3 to 4, 32% say 5 to 6 as the appropriate amount.
Probably. Well, if it's a re-release, aka it's a remaster of a game, then I would say, yeah, 5 to 6 years is probably fine. 7 to 8 feels a little bit long for me. I would say 3 to 6 years seems fine. I mean, it will though hugely depend, in my honest opinion. I know I'm a minority here, but if in 3 or 4 years you re-release a game and it's significantly better than the previous one, I kind of will take that. 5 and 6 seems reasonable. 7 to 8 seems a little bit steep to me.
Of time, and certainly, hey, looking at you, PlayStation, you guys really do like doing it pretty quick. But if you want a perfect example of everything going wrong, it comes from a really goddamn sad place, and that is the Space Marine Mastercrafted Edition from Sega earlier this year. Oh dear, it did not do well. Existing players felt cheated, there was no discounted upgrade path. The Anniversary Edition had effectively been re-released back in 2021, and the Mastercrafted Edition really didn't add enough graphical improvements whatsoever. It felt like a cheap cash grab to capitalize on Space Marine 2 being pretty goddamn good. So here's the lesson. Especially once a game is accessible in a modern digital format to audiences, you can't just keep hitting the re-release button. But companies will obviously keep trying, and that's because the opportunities far, far outweigh the costs. Gotta talk about the business case. Think about the business side like this. Oblivion is a goddamn dream scenario. It massively outsold the original, in great part because there are simply more gamers now. And one thing you'll...
I wonder if this is true, because let's be real. When I played Morrowind, I did not have an original disc. When I played most of my games as a kid, I had no discs for anything. It just happens. And all of my friends were the fucking same. Okay? It is what it is.
In, like, say, rookie startups, is people being like, oh, you know, if I just get 10% of the market, then I'll make X amount of money. And that's a little bit silly, but...
And by the way, Billiard kind of almost has a point here about this, that these companies do want to try because they don't care that they're losing fans. But you need to understand, there's a fundamental problem here. Every one of these companies actually understands that losing fans is bad. But you need to understand that the people making these decisions are like, okay, if I don't get results right now, yeah, I'm either not getting my bonus, I could get fired, or I could get replays, demoted, or who fucking knows what, honestly. That's how this stuff happens. That's how this stuff works. So, these people know that losing fans and losing the goodwill of fans is gonna make you a Blizzard tier failure at some point. But, I mean, they don't want to lose their job right now, so they have to do it anyway. They know that they're setting everything up for a disaster, because everyone knows that the future is more important than the present, but the future is now, baby. It is what it is.
It can kind of fit our purposes for here. Even if you assume that a game sold to 1% of the audience way back in the day, and it could still sell to 1% of the current audience again in 2025, then it would be worth the cost of updating because, good God, the audience for games has increased massively. And this survey effectively validates that logic. The idea that 85% of players are willing to buy remakes with no personal attachment is huge. Now, maybe they have nostalgia for an era. There'll be creator coverage, maybe from people who played it back in the day, so these remasters will kind of have Vanguard-ish super fans. And it helps with branding.
The super fans don't matter for shit. Look at Bethesda. There was a time when you could not say anything negative about Bethesda because the Bethesda super fans would be like, "Oh no, you're wrong, you're lying." And now there's no Bethesda super fans. Like no one is actively defending Starfield or anything Bethesda, honestly, in my comments. Fuck, Borderlands 4 has more super fans at this point than actual Bethesda. So, you can lose all of the nostalgia. You can lose all of that. You can lose the super fans.
Games guarantee at least some audiences. And taking a look at my personal playing habits, I've got to say I do have a bit of a theory here in why these games can work so goddamn well. So, across this channel, across the years, we've talked about so many game development stories that have been utter goddamn shit shows. I think a great example of one which, I mean, that it even came out is kind of shocking. It would be Dragon Age Veilguard. So the deal with Dragon Age, right? That went through like multiple redevelopments, and I believe
oh yeah, the multiple redevelopments are the reason the stats on items are boring. The multiple redevelopments are the reason why items are bad. Why talent points are bad, why the game loop is bad, while the crafting is bad, while the puzzles are literally 50 IQ retarded proofed, why the story is bad, why Vogue is the main context of this game. No. I understand there's a bunch of people who want to say that it's that Veilguard failed because it got made into an online game and then it got made into a single player game and blah 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 blah. No, that does not excuse the stuff that was done. Okay? Making it into an online game from a single player game, annoying and stupid. But at the same time, it doesn't affect so many things that Veilguard did wrong.
Did a reboot and then made the version we got in like 18 months. And that is a story that is just repeated across so many games. Now, a lot of that is because of planning.
By the way, it's, again, like, this moment, for example, has nothing to do with multiplayer or single player or whatever. Let me explain to you what's happening in this scene, right? This is the first moment when you get with the city with the Red Guard or the Blood Guard or whatever the fuck they're called. And you find your first prosthetic leg companion, right? So here, you see a giant spotlight pointed at a woman, and they're saying, "Stop! We're gonna arrest you," and you have a choice, or you get kind of you get the choice gets taken away from you, and it's like you can't actually stop this. Or was there a choice? I don't remember. But it's like, why the fuck would I try to save her? I don't know who she is. I have no idea. These people are not supposed to be evil in general. Like, why the hell would I try to stop this woman from getting arrested by the police for no reason? And it's supposed to be like an evil framing, like this is your moral choice. And the objectively good choice is to save her, even though you have no idea what's happening. You're just like kind of assuming police bad. Or you can let her be taken, and that's a morally bad choice because she's clearly innocent. But you have no idea of anything here, okay? And that's the whole game. Vague fucking virtue signaling bullshit.
So many games. Now, a lot of that is because of planning risk, right? There's the game that they plan, and then they just keep on needing to goddamn reboot and reboot and reboot, and it ends up being complete chaos. But you see with these remasters, you already have a proven formula. And that proven formula means you have...
I mean, the people don't like the... Again, the developers at Bethesda did not like Oblivion. They wanted to change as much as they could because it wasn't woke enough. So again, there are risks there. In any case, that was Baldur. New games suck, old games are good. It's true. And then there's nothing... there's no way to prove it otherwise. 10 out of 10. Bye!